Now I want to go back to the event display, not the AOI display. Next, what I want to introduce is the time of interest. What time of interest is if you're interested in the fixation within the area of interest for a specific time duration, you can actually set that up here. So let's say if I'm interested in the events that I created from the moment of the back initiation of the backswing and until the club hits the ball, then I can create you can also adjust the offsets, but I don't need offsets. I want exactly the fixation within the area of interest during that time point. So you can specifically choose this where you begin the time and where you end the time, and you can say initiation to ball hit, something like that. I want to introduce something else, which is a snapshot. When you look at the gaze data section, you have a different tab, snapshot. You can upload a image. What I'm interested in is the gaze and the fixation from the initiation of the swing to the ball hit. Then what you want to do is you're gonna click on this show snapshot. That you can see the video and uploaded the photo side to side. And what you want to do is you see a small yellow markers here, right? You can actually expand this and change the window size. For my interest is from the initiation of the movement, from the preparation to the ball hit. So once you select the window, basically highlight the window with the yellow toggle, then you want to right click and then run automatic mapping. Once you finish the automatic mapping, which it will show here on the very top right corner, and the automatic mapping completed, then you can go to Analyze and Visualization tab. The new display will appear. Then it will give you a heat map onto the image. And if you go on the right side and then go on the right column, if you click on this one on the right column, gaze plot, it will show you the number of the fixation as well as the path of the fixation during this time of interest. This doesn't give you a specific data, but it is a really good visualization. And not only that, you can also, when you click on the right, you click right here and export video clip. So I think one of the most important things to know is that you can't really do everything with just one display. The display that shows up when you first open it, when you first open the file, this will allow you to identify, define the events and create a timestamp and mark the timestamps and create the time of interest and upload the image. But this display doesn't let you frame to frame. But this display doesn't have a function to determine AOI or area of interest. In that case, you have to choose a different display, which is the same video, but different functions. This way, this one, the arrows indicates frame to frame, and you can define and move the area of interest. So later, you can process the data during the time that this AOI is active, it will give you the duration where the fixation was on the ball or the club. So once you finish all this marking of the events and the AOI, what you can do is you can export the data. When you when you click on that, it will give you all the variables you want to export. And also other sensors, the Tobii Glasses sensor also have a gyroscope and accelerometer, if you want to account for the head movements later. So you can export that data too. If you uncheck it, it won't. First, the format. If you want to the export with the TSV format, by default, it should be like that. You can, if you want to export the data with an Excel format, you can use this one. And then filtration. For this one, for this tutorial, I use the fixation. Another really important thing I want you to know is this recordings. When you actually uploaded multiple files and processed multiple participants, multiple files, actually, when you try to export the file, it will try to export all the participants' data within the same project. So you want to uncheck the unwanted files to export. If you want to export participant to participant, you need to check the specific participants and uncheck all other participants. You don't see the list of other participants because I only processed and imported a file for now within the project. And you click on the export, you export the file, and you can also choose to export other metrics. So if you click on the metrics, then what you're going to see is the very similar display, but this is more of the duration of duration of fixation within the AOI between the time frame you chose. So if you want these variables, so you want to export this data too. Again, make sure you choose the right filtration and the format and the export. I want to quickly go over how the output exported file looks like. First, the 5 to 10 columns are not really necessary. The main thing is here, and this is recording timestamps. So I collected the eye movements 100 hertz. So it give you each row every 10 milliseconds. And the events that you created, for example, I created the ball hit. Then the events I created is also logged here. Even if you are actually collecting data consecutively without losing the data, you will sometimes see empty rows between the data. And that's because when you actually exported the gyroscope and accelerometer with the eye movements, then the sampling frequency are different, and therefore you have the data of those rows. So when you actually look at only the gaze point data, you're not losing any data. See, 480, and the next data point should be 490 every 10 milliseconds, for 500, 510. So these empty rows are not like any missing data. Something else I want to show is the earlier I try to identify the fixation within the area of interest from the initiation of the movement until the ball hit. How you can find is here. When you see this row, when you see the -1, it indicates the AOI was deactivated. And 0 means the fixation was there. As you can see here, the fixation, but the gaze was not within the area of interest. And if you see a +1, that indicates the fixation was within the area of interest. Okay, so when you export the data, if you're not interested in the movement adjustment of the glasses, when you export the data, you can deselect the checkbox of the other sensors. Then you won't see these empty rows. All right.